All right, so this is just a reminder that we are recording this meeting. Welcome everyone to our first question and answer session for leaders for Camp Mitzi this summer. Hope you guys are excited and ready for camp. So I am Jay Fierstein, also known as Foof or Dr. Foof, and I've been a camp staff member in Mitzi Trails since I started at Camp Mitzi in 1995. Then I spent from 96 until this past year at Akala Land, and I've been the director there since 2003. And now I am your Camp Mitzi camp director. Ryan and Steve, who are on the call here, are going to be our co-program directors. And then we also have Owen Fitzgerald is going to be our assistant program director. And they're going to be working together to steer, the summer camp operation as you see it there. I'm going to do most of the talking, I think, tonight, but we have a number of camp staff on the call, so anytime they want to jump in, just feel free to jump in. So just a little bit a note on the format. I'm going to talk for a bit. I'm going to go over a couple things fairly quickly, just so we can get to a question and answer session. That is partially for you to know the answers, hopefully, to your questions tonight, but also to me if there's questions that I don't have the answer for now. Then I can write that information down and get back to you as quickly as I can with whatever you need to know. So one quick big change. I'm going to go over a couple big changes besides all the people you see in front of you. We have a dining service this summer, Candle. They only do summer camps. They have a long track record of performing well in a variety of summer camps. They only take 1 or 2 summer camps per year, adding to their collection, and we were lucky to be able to contract with them for Camp Mitzi. One special note for Camp Mitzi, the special diet request procedure is different than our other camps if you're familiar with it. There is a link on the website under camp documents and forms, and if you click that link that says Camp Mitzi food allergy and special dietary need form, that will take you into, I think, a Google Doc that is set up through Candle, and that goes right to their chefs, and I get a copy as well. And that way, when you check in for the week, they'll already have all your information ready to go. We need you to do that once you know that you have someone with a special diet. If you could just put that information in there, then they can start collecting their lists together to make sure they have adequate supplies to make sure everyone gets to eat and eat well all week. The menu is still under development, although it's pretty close to done. I get to meet with them once a week just to see how we're progressing. There will be a main food item, and then also salad bars and other food bars of different options. And that way, if your campers don't have a special dietary need or food allergy, but they're a little picky, there's always a couple of good options just out and available for them to eat. If questions, I can also take questions on food as long as you're willing to be recorded at the moment. If you have questions on food for the summer. They do have a large number of staff coming to us for the food service, including they have staff that are just dedicated to our special dietary concerns and allergies. Okay, I'm going to move on for the moment then. Just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the merit badges that are offered. I hope you got a chance to look at our merit badge schedule that's up. Waterfront is going to be offering these merit badges and programs: small boat sailing, kayaking, rowing, life-saving, swimming, canoeing, and mile swim, as well as stand-up paddleboarding. And that will be under the direction of Tommy for the summer, who many of you should already know if you've been to Camp Mitzi. Shooting sports will be with Carl, and Amelia will be running our archery. And they'll be offering rifle shooting, shotgun shooting, and archery, as well as cowboy action shoot on Tuesdays. And also History with a Bang, also, I believe, on Tuesdays. We have Scoutcraft with Zach. They're offering camping, cooking, first aid, exploration, pioneering, emergency preparedness, wilderness survival, fishing. Econ with Eddie, who was our dining hall steward this past year. Reptile amphibian study, bird study, environmental science, fish and wildlife management, forestry, insect study, mammal study, and geocaching is coming to us this summer. So these two are on the same page because one's only in the morning and one's only in the afternoon. Ryan, who is our one of our co-program directors, will still be running Citizenship in the Nation and Citizenship in the World merit badges. And then Tanner is going to be restarting our athletics program with sports and athletics in one session. You can get both merit badges during that session. Theater, which is a special interest of his, and also personal fitness in the morning. And then he is going to be helping coordinate our afternoon adventures in the afternoon. Our handicraft program is going to be now handicraft and STEM. For the handicraft merit badges, they're going to be offering game design, music, basketry, wood carving, art, animation, which you should note is a paper and pencil animation, not a computerized programming animation. Space exploration, radio, robotics, and aviation. Robotics is going to be one that is going to have a cap based on how many robotics kits we can order. And it also needs to be a little smaller just so that they can provide adequate instruction for it. Aviation is also going to have a slightly larger than robotics cap. They have, and that's a double block session. They're going to be covering all the requirements for aviation merit badge, except for the one of visiting an FAA facility. And then the one half of the class, they're going to be able to take some time flying drones. We're getting a number of educational drones that they can fly. You can do aviation merit badge with paper airplanes, but I think drones will add a lot of excitement and make it a good, valuable experience for everyone. And then looking at our afternoon adventures, they are staying the same as last year. The pricing is coming out very soon. We were just waiting on one more contract from our outside groups. Horseback riding, treetop adventures, whitewater rafting, mountain biking, and natural rock face climbing. So in case you're not familiar with the afternoon adventures, scouts who are signed up for the afternoon adventures will be leaving around lunchtime, and they would get a bag lunch that they can eat, and then they would travel off campus on a bus, go to the activity, and then be back home before dinner. Is that all correct, Steve?
It should be. Like I said, I'll be able to give whoever's doing it some pointers on how that's going to go.
Yep. I have been working with all these groups just to make sure we can keep everything as much the same as possible. Prices did go up on them, not on our end, but on their end. So I will get that to you as soon as possible. For the afternoon adventures, there are caps on some of them. There is a limit on the horseback riding and a limit on the climbing on Friday. The others have much more flexible limits that if we know we have a lot, we can get a second bus. So those we can expand out, but Mondays and Fridays, there is definitely a limit, which is about 18. Also, I'm noticing there's a mistake on the bottom part there. So the muck hike will be Wednesday afternoons. The cowboy action shoot, which it says Western shooting experience there, is going to be Tuesdays in place of shotgun shooting merit badge class. So just note that that'll be Tuesdays. I'll make sure you have that on your schedule. It's on the merit badge program schedule. So Wednesday, which has been the most common activity question, you can do whitewater rafting or muck hike or do your normal scheduled programming. It's kind of like a clean option and a muddy option. You can pick one of the two. You cannot do both at the same time. Those are both both exciting. So we got questions in the chat of when can we register for afternoon activities? And how does Afternoon Adventures work with merit badge programs? So with those, you'll be able to register for those in Double Knot, just like a merit badge. They will be listed as activities, and we would like you to sign up. I am going to send out some more information as soon as that's open. But we want to get much as possible. The registration's all done by June 1st for the Afternoon Adventures. We are trying to pay all of these companies in advance, and we want to make sure we have as solid a numbers as possible by June 1st. Is there an age limit to certain activities? So for most of them, the age limit there is listed on this little chart, which is hard to read from where you are. So for most of them, it is 14 or 13 and completed 8th grade. Whitewater rafting is open to anyone in your troop who would like to go. The muck hike is open to anyone in your troop who would like to go. Including all of these are also open to adults. And we would very much love to have adults also come. So if they are interested in participating in any of these activities with their scouts, they can do that as well. The first available date to register for merit badges is going to be April 15th. We're going to open it on that day. So next question is a good one about how do scouts complete their merit badges if they're going to afternoon adventures. So if they're going on an afternoon adventure every day, then they should not schedule themselves for merit badges in the afternoon. If they're going on one afternoon adventure and possibly even 2 afternoon adventures, they can usually make up the requirements on Fridays. We have a more flexible schedule so that they can make up the things that they missed. But they should plan this out in their schedule. That's another reason why we want to have you think ahead of time of which afternoon adventures they want to do. So if they decide they're going to do 3 or 4 of them, then they have to make a decision on whether they want to work to make up the merit badges or if they want to leave a little flexibility in their schedule. The merit badge schedule is up, and I can actually share that with you here as well. The program guide, there is a couple of merit badges that change requirements. So as soon as I double check all those prerequisites, that should be up in the next couple days. And I am scrolling to see if there's any other questions I did not yet answer. I think that is it. So merit badge schedule is up. The prerequisites, I am just double checking because we had a lot of merit badges that updated requirements. But that should be by the end of this week, they will be up. All right. And then I wanted to talk just for a moment on evening programs. For evening programs on Sunday night, we'll have a campfire, an opening campfire. On Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we're going to have an open program schedule where different program areas are going to be offering programs. Those are still coming out. We will have a schedule for those shortly. Thursday night is going to be Order the Arrow night and Cook in Your Sight night. So I know there was confusion because the Order the Arrow asked me to change to a Wednesday, but it was just a miscommunication. They want to keep it on Thursday. So Order the Arrow and Cook in Your Sight night are both going to be on Thursday. We're working with the company to decide the final count for, or what final menu for what supplies we're going to provide. But we'll provide all the food that you need to cook in your site. You should bring up your own troop camping equipment or cooking equipment. We may have some to borrow, but not a lot to borrow. So if you can, you'll cook those meals in your site and then head to the Order the Arrow campfire. And then Friday night, we'll have our closing campfire. I'm going to post the link. Let me stop sharing for 1 second. And I am going to share with you where the merit badge schedule is. So if you're on the Camp Mincy website, and you go to Camp Resources, Camp Documents, you can click right here. And a PDF of the merit badge schedule will open up. One quick note, I did, just for organizational purposes, if a merit badge is required for Eagle, I bold-faced it. If you do not get a merit badge from the activity, I put it in italics, just so that we didn't have anyone going through a week of, instructional swim thinking they were getting a merit badge or something else like that. So another question in the chat is week 2.
Oh, wait, where is it?
I'll go back. Are you on campmincy.org? Go to Camp Mincy and under Camp Resources, click on Camp Documents. If it shows 2022, you might have to refresh. And there's a link. Thank you, Joe. We're all on this page too. If you look on the bottom is that food allergy and special diet needs form. One quick note on the whitewater rafting is that swimmers need, or the scouts participating in whitewater rafting have to be a swimmer. So they have to pass the swim test. But they could be any age in your troop. Okay, I'm going to go back to this. I'm just going to open to this because then I am just answering what questions you have. I just wanted to talk briefly just to give you a quick overview of where the program is at for Camp Mincy this summer. So what questions do you all have? Oh, okay. So we had a question for the schedule for afternoon adventures for week 2. For week 2, the horseback riding and Gorilla Grove is currently not open to us. We're going to continue to work to see what we can do, but they are closed down for the holidays there. The merit badges will all be offered. My guess is there won't be any real changes to the merit badge schedule for week 2. Quick note on, can troops conduct their own swim tests prior to coming to camp? Use a certified lifeguard to conduct the test? Yes, they can. And there's a roster form on the website. If you can't find it, if you can give us a roster with the lifeguard's credentials and what everyone passes the test, that will count as your swim check. The only thing I'm going to mention is that if you conduct swim checks ahead of time and Tommy at Aquatics does not feel like the test accurately reflects how people are swimming, then he can do a retest. Also, we had a question about medications. So if you're not familiar with how our camps do medications, then when you check in, we need to see the medications and check everyone in with their health forms and medicines. Then we will help you complete a medication sheet that goes into a lockbox with the medicines. You can keep the medications in your site, and then a leader is in charge of making sure that people have access to their medicines. And you just have to write down when people take their medicine and then turn those sheets into us at the end of the week with the lockbox. For CPAPs, we'd ask you try to bring a battery pack that's connected to your CPAP to run your CPAP, and we can help charge battery packs too. You will only need 1 copy of the BSA medical form. My preferred is that you bring just a copy of the medical forms. That way, should you forget them or a leader or they go into leader stuff and they get rained on or anything else at the end of the week, then you're not losing your original. But we'll take either way, as long as you have one medical form for each person. We got a question on limitations for number of attendees for certain merit badges. The only ones that I know of for limitations are aviation and robotics. Any camp staff here have others that they know of?
No. No,
No.
there's no restriction on any of my merit badges.
Nothing in shooting sports. We've never hit a number that we couldn't handle.
I've got, Steve, do you know it? There's a question on bringing your own bow to archery. What have you guys done in the past with that? Do you know?
We haven't allowed people to bring their own bows because the archery range is set up for bows of a specific power. And we know that the curtain will stop errant arrows, and that our equipment the targets will stand up to the bows we're using. So we wouldn't, under normal circumstances, we wouldn't let someone bring their own bow.
I got a question. I'm gonna pass this one off. Bonnie. I've just verified that I'm correct. We have a question: is the $100 deposit required for anyone that signed up after March 1st? And I'm gonna say the $100 deposit is what gets you the discount. But you don't need the deposit because you won't be getting a discount, but you should pay in full by June 1st. Is that correct, Bonnie?
Yeah, I usually tell folks if they have a lot of Webelow crossover new scouts, like if you 5-10 kids and you want to send that in earlier all at once, you can, or you can wait and pay it all for June 1st.
Next question is, do adults need to sign up for adult programs prior to coming? Right now, we do have the afternoon adventures open for adults. We don't currently have the adult leader training this year. We're still working on finding someone qualified to offer that. That is the one program we can't offer it yet at the moment. Next one is vehicle parking trailers at site. As much as possible, all vehicles should be parked down in the parking lot. If you have someone who's handicapped, then you can just contact us and make sure we make a plan for that. You can keep a troop trailer at the site, though. A troop trailer per site is perfectly fine. Merit badges with age restrictions.
On the age restrictions, and as far as shooting sports goes, I trust the good judgment of the Scoutmaster.
And I don't think the other areas have age requirements. Thank you, Carl. Do we have other questions?
If I have a question.
Go ahead.
Sometimes we get people that are day campers. Is the provisional or the procedure with that still is that the parent checks them in the morning and then picks them up in the evening at dinner, after dinner?
That is correct. And we are going to offer a Scouts BSA day camp week 2. So if you have scouts that live in the area and just want to sign up and be able to take some merit badges during the week, the information for Scouts BSA day camp is either on the website or will be published shortly. I know Brian Duncan was working on that.
Okay.
So we had the question on a mature 11-year-old taking rifle merit badge. So Carl said he'll use the Scoutmaster's best judgment. So Nick was asking, he's got a little bit of a fluctuation in his troop attendance. So, if let's say you have someone who you really don't know if they're coming or not, we can probably add a couple even on a Sunday. If you have some that are signing up really late, but as much as possible, we'd like to have everyone done and paid for, the week before you come to camp. Preferably everyone is done and paid for by June 1st. If you suddenly have a wild swing in attendance after June 1st, then your campsite may not match your attendance. So there may be a situation where we're going to ask you to bring your own tents if all of a sudden you're adding a ton of scouts last minute. Joe asked about, has anything changed in terms of troops arriving and checking in? Right now, we're expecting the check-in procedure to be exactly the same. We're gonna just double check with everyone before we start, but I'm not expecting any changes in check-in. And we are going to have some follow-up Zoom meetings. So after this meeting, I'll be having a staff meeting and I'll set out another question and answer session as we get closer. And then we'll have another one. We'll have a few meetings, some Zoom, some in person, leading up to the start of camp. Also, just as a note, Sea Scout Academy and STEM Camp are both going to be occurring right at the end of the summer, starting that last weekend of June or July and going into the very beginning of August. So Sea Scout registration is open. STEM Scout or STEM Camp registration will be open soon. We had a question about swim checks. Tommy, do you just want to go over the swim check and then we can?
Actually, Foof, this is Jim Roberts. I'd like to
Yep.
speak about it.
Oh, go ahead.
I admit I do this every year. I swimming enough
You can't see the bottom of the lake when you're swimming, and sometimes that can psych out the youth. Also, just the general feeling of doing a swim check where you have to jump in feet first and the water goes over your head. Sometimes it's a point that's misconstrued to the troops. And so when they conduct the swim check, the scout might already be in the water or the scout might slide in, but it really should be a feet first entry where the water goes over the scout's head and then they start swimming. And sometimes doing that in front of the guards with so much pressure in the line behind them, it might psych out the scout. So I would definitely recommend they do it here at camp because that could tell us a lot more of the scout swimming ability. I couldn't really see the actual question here in the chat. So if somebody wants to re-ask that, or if I answered your question, I hope I answered your question, but let me know.
I got disconnected from everyone for just a moment. So I didn't hear everything that Jim said.
Well, there was a question just now. Is a swim check in the lake? The answer to that is certainly yes. And I was encouraging everyone to do the swim test in the lake at Camp Mincy because it's so different than a swimming pool. And Tommy basically reinforced that message. So I think we've got it covered.
Another question about, is there open time for scouts to go fishing? If so, what kind of fish populate the lake? Scouts, if you have scouts who really want to spend a lot of time fishing, I encourage them just to put it in their schedule of time they're going to go fishing. I know I had a couple kids in my troop that had an hour block in their schedule every day that said they were going to go fishing. There is quite a lot of space around our lake to go fishing. I don't know if anyone can speak about what kind of fish are in this lake. I haven't gone fishing in this one for a while.
Oh, I'll just say something. Usually the fish are just sunnies, and then you have some smallmouth bass. It's just fish that you would see in any normal lake. It's nothing really particular. We don't stock the lake at all. And it's also just a catch and release, so you can't catch it and take it back to your site and cook it. So majority of the fish that are in there have been there for years, and yeah.
Tommy, if you can see that question in the chat about board sailing.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie to you, Mr. Keeley. I'm not really too aware of board sailing. I've never taken the badge, the patch, I mean, and I'm definitely not equipped to teach it. So it's not really on the schedule for this summer, but I'll tell you what, I will prep for your scout to come, and I'll do my best to try to get them to complete that patch. What that will take, I don't know, because it's very involved, so we'll probably be learning together. But yeah, he can most certainly, or she can most certainly come back, and we can try to finish that patch up for them.
Poof, there was 2 questions you missed. Is there a 2023 merit badge scheduling worksheet? And can any scout attend Sea Scout?
All right. There is the merit badge scheduling sheet. So the merit badge scheduling sheet is under documents and forms on the website, and there is a link in the chat as well. Sea Scouts, I believe that is just 14 and up or 13 and finished 8th grade. Do you guys remember, or I'm gonna lean on our staff for a moment. Is that correct?
Yeah, you
it's
have to
mostly
be-
for, sorry, go ahead, Tanner.
Yeah, you good, Tom. You got it.
Okay, it's mostly for scouts that are already in ships. There is ship 940, which is in the area. They're pretty up and running around last year in 2021. So I don't know if they still have meetings or whatnot. But your scout can look into joining ship 940. I'm not sure if individuals can come to Sea Scout Week though. I think it's pretty much people that are in ships, because a lot of the activities that we run are group activities.
Yeah, I think as long as you're the correct age, you can sign up. But you have to be, the venturing and Sea Scout age is 14 or 13 and finished 8th grade. We got a question in the chat about how big the lockbox is. The lockbox is a standard toolbox. It's a Stanley toolbox, actually. They're black and yellow. They are, I would say, about 14 inches long by 6 inches wide. And if it's not big enough for something, we'll get you whatever you need for whatever you need. Obviously, if you have refrigerated medications or something that needs to be a little more temperature controlled, we can store it in the health lodge too. But the default is to store them in the campsite in the lockbox.
Also, if I just wanted Robert said, is there a 2023 merit badge scheduling worksheet? I think he's trying to refer to, we had a sheet in years past where it had each merit badge in each block, and it was an easy way for the troops to kind of circle off which one they were going to be doing. I'm not sure if you have forms from last year that you could then tweak and make over to this year. I know Greg used to have them on hand.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go back to this one. I can type it up differently if the leaders here would like it. I know what I just took these out to my troop and had them start looking at which ones they wanted to take. And they just in each block circled what they wanted to take for that block. I know one thing I didn't talk about, I realized I left it out of the PowerPoint, was the first year camper program. So Declan is going to be our Trail to Adventure director. We are going to make a few changes to Trail to Adventure for this year. So Trail to Adventure, instead of having a lot of large group instruction, Trail to Adventure is going to be organized into patrols like a troop. The director there is going to function kind of like their scoutmaster. The staff that I have in that area are then going to be the patrol leaders of each smaller group of scouts. And that way they can provide the instruction in smaller groups and hopefully connect even more so with your scouts. And we can work together to show them how a troop operates and how they fit within that troop, and then provide the skills in a manner much closer to what you would do at home. That guide is going to take a little longer to get to you, but by the end of April here, we should have that for you. Okay, if you guys would rather have it in that format, I can. I'll put it up there both ways, and then you guys can use whichever one you like the best. That is fine. So in a moment, I'm going to turn off the recording, just in case anyone has questions that they don't want to be recorded sharing. I was going to keep the questions on the recording just so other people can get their answers as well. But I'm going to stop recording now.